I want to talk about Brandon Tatum, who I believe personally is probably trying to go for Raccoon of the Year. Now, Brandon Tatum has been a raccoon for a very, very long time. This is not new. And I've talked about Brandon Tatum for a while too. Okay? On my other YouTube channel, Afro Elite on YouTube. Okay? Shameless plug. Go check that out. This year, though, 2026, he's been on something way different. He's the amount of shilling and tap dancing, he decided to really amp it up. He's like, you know what? I ain't been doing enough. I'm going to do 10 times more. And all year long, Brandon Tatum has been, he's going for, he want a big raccoon statue made of him. That's what I think he's going for. Okay? That's what he's going for. But we're going to talk about that, though. We're going to have a conversation because he was on the app Jubilee, and there were some talking points that he has. Now, when you're a host on Jubilee, you get to make certain claims and things of the sort, right? And the claims he was making are these claims right here. I have listed right here. And they weren't really debated as thoroughly as I would have done. Some of that is the debater's fault. Some of that just is the format. Some of the debaters, I think, were doing a really good job, but either they were voted out for whatever reason or their time ran out or something like that. But I want to get to some of these points, okay? Because there was a couple of points that were made. First off, he really got roasted. Roasted. But I want to jump in on this. And I will play it on my other YouTube channel, but Jubilee do not play that. Jubilee don't do that at all. You cannot play that on Jubilee. You will get a copyright strike immediately. You try that. If you try. So, I recommend you don't. Right? So, point number one is Trump and the Republicans are better for black people than Democrats. All right? That's point number one. Point number two, cops do more good in the black, I meant the black community, not the black folk, in the black community than harm. Point number three, black people hurt black people more than any other group. And then finally, point number four, systemic racism is used as an excuse to avoid personal accountability. Okay? So those were the points that he made. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time monologuing on my disdain for this dude. But I'm going to get to the point. Point number one. And if you guys want to come in and address any of the points, feel free to do that. Or if you want to defend it, feel free to do so. All right? Let's have a conversation. Point number one. Trump and the Republicans are better for black people than the Democrats. I don't like the structure of this point. Okay? Because I don't think that as a black American, we should be on any political side. Party, I mean. Okay? That means Democrats or Republicans. Okay? Now, I know we have a lot of issues with the Democrats, and I'll talk about that often. However, I'm not going to sit up there and say, let's switch sides. That's not the plan. Okay? That's just us getting re-finessed. That's not what we are. We need to understand just when a little bit of political history, right? These politics, their political Republican Democrat parties, they don't even stand firm in whatever agenda they're about. You have a politician who will say one thing their entire political career, and then when it comes to an election, they'll have a completely different stance on things. We've seen that time and time again. We've seen Republicans change. We see Democrats change. We've seen Donald Trump believe in one thing, and then when he gets in office, he believes in something different. Biden, he believes in one thing, and then when he gets in office, he believes in something different. That's what happens. That's politics. This is why you cannot be blind to any type of political loyalty, all right? and black people unfortunately have been too politically loyal, even at our own detriment, even at the detriment of our own community. What we need to be focused on is the policies, okay? The specific policies, okay? And where we go needs to be about that. Now, if the policies, now we will say the policies recently that Democrats have been pushing out have been harmful. That doesn't automatically, follow me, that does not automatically mean, oh, I'm a hardcore red patriot Republican. No, that does not mean that. We shouldn't be lowering the bar just because we're mad at one party. All right? But what policies do we want and what policies do we do not want? And I'm going to be very honest. The point that the Democrats are very harmful is very true. It is very true. And if y'all disagree with that, y'all want to come up and push back or refute that, y'all feel free to do so. Okay? However, this don't mean we got to be no damn Republican ass kisser. Okay? No GOP bootlick. We're not doing that, okay? Because these are the same people who will sit up there and have Daniel Penny be paraded with the president for doing what he did to Jordan Neely. So you can't tell me that's a former Marine, ex-Marine, can go behind somebody and take him out, and then next thing you know, he doing a photo shoot with the president, and that's the side that protects black people. No, come on now. We need to be policy focused, not this loyalty to any party. All right, that's my stance on that. I don't think that the people who came up and advocated. Now, I mean, y'all can talk about Donald Trump all y'all want to. I'm not no Donald Trump supporter, so y'all can talk about Donald Trump. It's not gonna bother me. However, I just want it to be clear that we need to keep the same energy, because what I see from the panel that was there, I see way too many people talking about Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, and then when the Democrats get involved, or when the Democrats are accused of the same thing, then the standard kind of starts to shift. The goalpost starts to move. That's my thing. Keep the goalpost where it is. Do not move this goalpost, okay? And if you're going to strike one party or candidate for one thing, strike the other one for the same thing. Don't be moving the goalposts. And when people have political allegiances, they get to move the goalposts. So it becomes less about the community and more about saving and protecting and promoting the party. That's not what we should be about, all right? That's not what we should be about. Does anybody want to speak on point one before we move?
Yeah, I want to.
Okay.
Is this delay me? Okay, everybody mute up, because then it's going to be hard for me to talk because I hear the thing in my background.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still being harmed that way. All the immigrants, the majority of the immigrants have the businesses. The Latinos just got 30 million in funding. 11 million will go to their nonprofits. And when I asked what will Black American nonprofits,
yes, they're saying they can't hear the live. No, I'm sorry. They're saying they can't hear the live. A lot of
Yeah,
glitches have
I
been
just
going
pressed
on.
something. I think I turned it back on. I think I did that on accident. It's back. They're saying it's
You
back.
you was muting me. You
I,
wasn't sure what I was going to
no, because you
say.
Yeah.
said it was
You
Okay.
went.
no,
You didn't
no,
They
say
no.
couldn't
what
hear.
Because
to say
no,
first.
you said it was an echo. So I'm thinking I'm gonna just press this thing, and I thought he
I
was gonna
heard
turn the
you, but
echo
they
off.
couldn't hear you.
I
My
mean,
apologies, BX. That's
I
all I
mean,
want to
it
say.
did turn the echo off. I mean, it did turn the echo off. It turned everything off. So okay, but they can hear you now. So
I think he was screening. He was screening. He knew he was screening, y'all. He said, I don't know, BX. I gotta admit this. I like Trump's America First policies. However, Trump is pro-police. And I did tell everybody, if you're familiar with me and me on these panels, that Trump is also a white tea man. They're inherently racist, and he's gonna piss me off. Well, he started to piss me off. He hasn't filed. He didn't. He missed the deadline to file for the Supreme Court to rehear the 14th Amendment argument. He also named a foreign-born Trinidadian as a UN ambassador to Trinidad. While she doesn't have any power over us, she's also a representative in Florida, and her policies are primarily because of her Caribbean background, and she's been getting certain incentives for the Caribbean. And I'm just like, nobody's funding the Black American community, right? So the Latinos just got $30 million funding allocation. Okay, 11 million will go to their nonprofits. And when I asked how much funding did Black American nonprofits receive, or will they receive? Who's fighting specifically to get us funding allocated? They said they ain't see nothing for us. Trump is also pro-police. We still at risk of being harmed or unalived by the police in New York. Stop and frisk never ended, to be honest. We get the blame for everything, and all I want to know is when we're going to get something for us. So I don't agree that the Republicans are better than the Democrats. This is going to sound real cliche, but same bird, different wings. Okay, some will have policies that we like, but both are going to drop the ball on us, Black Americans. That's my stance on number one. So I don't think I have to give the decorum. Y'all are familiar with the room. We don't operate off of race here. We operate off of ethnic group and lineage. So when you come up, please just give your ethnic group. If you have two foreign parents, then you would be their country of origin. Meaning if you have two Haitian parents, you're Haitian American, and that's fine. We're not talking race, period. Y'all go ahead, tap up the screen, complete your daily mission. AfroD has a subscription option where you get some really cool stickers, panel priority, and help him achieve his gift goal. Also, share out the live so we can get some fresh perspectives in here. We're not going to be up here too long, but I like this conversation. It's something different to me in recent times because we've been focusing on tethers and this, that, and the third. So this is refreshing. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Anybody anything to say about point one?
Yeah, I want to say something about.
Shut up talking.
Who is
Oh, who the fuck is that?
who was that? That was
Somebody
Lou.
named Chris.
Lou.
No,
That's somebody.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about the prompt.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lou.
Yes, about number one. Like BX said, I'm for mass deportation because I believe that mass deportation can alleviate some of these tethers that come in and the damage that the AE Act that Lyndon B. Johnson passed that required for Africans to come here and replace Black Americans because they were quote unquote too radical. So I'm all for mass deportation, if anything. And I also see um, the damage that immigrant does in the state that I'm in. So that's the only thing I agree with. What's his name, Tatum, Officer Tatum on. But however, I feel like a lot of his stuff either come from two things. One, maybe he saw something as an officer that spent his opinion on want to be pro black behind the black fight the power belief, or he doing it for financial benefit. So That's all I have to yield the
You
floor.
think you okay? So you think he was like what, pro-black before, and then he changed? Is that what?
You know how we's like you might experience certain things and deep down like say for example the N word would be offensive if the YT people said and stuff like that. I feel like maybe when he was a cop somewhere down the line during the 6 years, maybe he experienced something that better his beliefs to like let's say if somebody lose a family member uh to the hands of someone that's black on black crime, that can kind of trigger them to be a symbol or
Mm.
COON.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Could be. I wouldn't give him that much credit personally. I don't know. It just seemed like somebody who's selling out for to get an audience. To me, that's to be honest. I don't know though. I
Financial
don't know,
benefit.
but to me, he just seemed like a straight up massa lover sellout. And this is his. He's been a loser, and he's probably using this to come up because he got
And
not
you saw
got
those
a little
guys,
money and something.
Elite, you saw those guys, Nolan Wells friends, they raised like 200K in one day. So catering to YT does pay.
It does, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. You know, yeah,
I
something.
like to introduce myself because
One moment, Jasmine. One moment. Afro, check your phone, your text messages. Thank you. Go ahead, Jasmine.
yeah, so I want to answer the number one prompt before we move on because I know I think it's other people who have not been introduced to. So Trump and Republicans are better for Black people than Democrats. My personal opinion, based off of reality and facts, is that they're actually the same. They're actually the same, except for our morals and our values. Myself, as an FBA, multi-ethnic FBA from California, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, it's all over the freaking ethnic FBA from California, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, it's all over the freaking notes on this because I was wondering why people keep trying to say that FBA are white supremacists and by going MAGA, we're a hate group as opposed to the Democratic shills being a hate group too. They're the same goofy coin of immigrants that just barely came over here and are now trying to take over our birthrights because, like Trump, he is, I think his grandfather is from Germany, his grandmother is from some other European country. He can't go back as far as we can go. So when I see people like this guy, and I just have gotten the displeasure of trying to figure out who he is. I guess he's an ex-police officer, right? The guy in the image. And he's over here bringing on Nolan Wells, supposedly best friend who's confused about him being a dark-skinned mixed person, by the way. When I see those type of things go on, it's like the Democratic Party is very immoral, disgusting. And not only that, they are willing to hide who they are as opposed to the Republican Party. So I think a lot of people get it confused when it comes to, I'm going to land in like 30 seconds. They get it confused when we say, oh, we understand where the Republicans are coming from, because at least they're saying the quiet part out loud. And every once in a while, they'll do something that actually helps us, not because they like us, because they dislike other immigrants more than us. It goes back to black and white. There's no in between. Red, yellow, that is not what the US cares about, the USA. We care about black people and white people. And if you're anyone in between, you're disposable. And that's why they're trying to lump us under the people of color. And that's why all people of color are mad at us because we won't go out there and fight their battles. And I land there.
Mm. Yeah. Yep.
Text message.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
Dranky. I think that's his name. You see him? No, but this man in here talking about you eating those biscuits, Afro
I
Elite.
sent him an invite. I sent him an invite. If he don't want to come up, because you're not gonna be trolling and distracting from this very beneficial conversation. So, hmm, uh, okay, he's not gonna be doing that, so we're gonna have to mute him. So, okay, let's see though. That's that 1 point. That's 1 point to the thing. Now let me get to the next talking point. Right. The next one is cops do more good in the black community than harm. All right.
Phase.
Cause then
So,
if I be like all types of slap people like bitch.
okay, everybody mute up until it's everybody's turn to speak. So here's the thing with that. When we say cops do more good than harm, let's talk about the harm they do. And let's say this. Do we think that all cops are malicious pigs? I'm going to say that for the, BPG, right? There are some cops, you know what I'm saying, some brothers and sisters who join the police force and don't be terrorizing people, okay. And I guess we can give them their credit for it. However, when we say that cops do more good than harm, let's not embellish on the quote unquote good that they do. When he's not even an officer, but when Brandon Tatum says that, what Brandon Tatum does is he really bigs up and exaggerates the quote unquote good that the cops do. And then when it comes to the cops doing something bad in the black community, he doesn't acknowledge that at all. You don't see Brandon Tatum acknowledging, period, at all, ever, any bad the cops do in the black community. He doesn't. He does not do that. So in his thing, well, cops are perfect. And yeah, there are a few bad apples, but he's never going to address the few bad apples. And this is what I've been saying for a while as well, too. There wouldn't be a few bad apples if the environment of the police force did not allow that. If the police force didn't allow an environment of a few bad apples, the few bad apples wouldn't exist. They would be exterminated before they ever reach the community, before they could even do any harm to the community. That's not what we're seeing. We're seeing an environment that cultivates, that promotes, that protects these few bad apples. This is what we're seeing. Now, when we talk about crime, nobody's a fan of that, okay? Nobody's a fan of crime. However, the solution to crime, and this might go into another conversation, but the solution to crime isn't grabbing people and throwing them in the jail cell, locking them up and throwing away the key, okay? And we've seen that. There's been studies on that. There's been research done on that. That's not the solution for it. If you want to fix the solution to crime, you will solve the environmental issues. What a lot of people need to understand as well too is that crime in the United States, just in general, violent crime we're speaking of, is actually really going down. This does not mean that there is no crime. This doesn't mean that. Hold on. Let me finish this text.
Hey, he still look like Titus Star Wars.
Okay. This doesn't mean that. However, Brandon Tatum was being very, very disingenuous with just the framing of this question. Okay? Because the framing of this question is there to protect police from any accountability at all, period. And this is the thing that happens, right? When they have these debates, they get into this very extremist point of view where either all cops are good, all right, or all cops are bad, and there's no room for any nuance or any gray area or anything in between. And if you try to hold cops accountable, then you're the morale. Now nobody wants to be a cop. Now we're not going to have any cops. So essentially, you have to let the cops roam free with impunity, or else you will have no cops whatsoever. That's the analogy that he's bringing up, okay? That's what's being said.
I agree.
Hold on.
Can I answer this too? So, and I know you guys, not just you, but a lot of people are like, don't use your personal experience, but we actually learn from firsthand experience, right? When it comes to cops do more in the black folk than on the black folks than harm, right? I I only have one experience with a
False.
cop that was positive, and it's one of my military comrades. You know, we were in different career fields, or whatever, right? She got out the military, became a cop, and we were both from LA. And she was an LA sheriff. And she actually quit the force because of the fact that it is a good old boys club, no matter where you go. Because a lot of our people are not policing our communities. It used to be, like you police your own community. You got to stop recording, FTC. Yeah, you got to, so we used to police our community. We used to, the gangs used to be positive too, right? When it came to like, oh, let's give basic welfare. They keep switching our reality out with just falsehoods. So again, when it comes to cops doing more good for the black community or not, when we have our own policing our own, just like they have their own policing their own, it does give more grace for our people. And they don't like when we point that out. The same thing with the Nolan Wells case. They're like, oh, well, Ocean Springs, Mississippi, we take care of our own. Absolutely, because you're a majority white, backwards community in Mississippi, and you don't understand what it means to police. Well, they think we don't understand. So when we were policing our own, we were good. So I land there. I think we should bring the gangs back, to be honest. That's just me.
I understand that, sister, but remember this. I understand that part, sister, but remember this. When it comes to us policing ourselves, we should all join ICE. I believe in that. If you under 40,
Hold on, wait a
I'm
second.
still
Wait a
trying
second,
to.
sir. Hold on. We should all join and hear you.
ICE.
Okay.
Yeah, immigration. We should all join, especially if you're a foundational black American under 40 years old. Even you with that little ass chain on. I believe if you under 40, join ICE, especially a young, struggling, foundational black American. Like T.I. said, if you under 25, staying alive is hard work. Shout out to T.I. But for me, we should all join ICE. When it come to when it come to that dude Tatum,
Okay. All right.
oh man, please, it's on site with me.
All
It's
right.
on site with me.
Who got a little on? Just asking.
I'm talking to you, host.
I got.
I'm not gonna lie, I laughed. I did cackle.
I'm Jero. Right, I'm Jero. Remember this trick.
Okay.
Remember this
All right,
this trick flair. Remember, you look like my homie. You look like my homie. What one person I tell you look like? If y'all go on TikTok, my homie got 100. He got 1 million people, but I'll still roast him. You look like my homie Titus James.
All right.
Y'all both look like, and both of y'all live in Chicago, but the only difference is you are a relative. So when it come to roasting, I'm just roasting homie now. When it come to this real issues, I believe anybody that's under 40 should join ICE. And I believe that. Now, when it comes to this Tatum character, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Now, second point, do cops do more good in the black community than harm? What do you say to that?
There is no, because everybody tell you there's a good cop, but for some reason, the only great cop is Bass Reeves. There has never been a great cop since Bass Reeves. Name me somebody better than Bass Reeves, host.
I can't. Not no real person. I can't.
I seen your little mustache. I seen your little mustache curl up, homie. I'm FBA all day. When it come to you, when it get you start laughing. I like that. When it come to everything that from 6, 7 years ago when we delineated to now, I'm on everybody's side that's foundational Black America, especially you, and especially you and what's his name? What's my brother's name? Damn it, why I can't remember his name. I
So how
can't
old
remember
are
his name.
you?
All right, but
I'm
we got to
41, sister. I'm foundational Black
No,
American.
I like it. I like the jokes, but
we
I'm
got
the
to
same
keep.
age as you, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, we got to keep going though, because we got a couple more points we want to get to. Do you have anything you want to say about the, or does anybody
Yes.
in the chat room have anything they want to say about the
Yeah,
second point?
yes. Regarding to the police, I think they used. I think George Floyd. After the George Floyd incident, that magnified uh, the harm that police used to do before they had body cams. Because I remember when I was younger, I was just outside and I was in another neighborhood, I guess, and I remember cops would say stuff to you that they won't say now. Like they'll say, "Hey, I'll pew pew you in the back," but now that they got these body cams, they won't say such things because they being recorded, they being monitored. So uh, I say about 10 years ago, it was a lot worse than what it is now. And last thing I want to say is, I think we used to, in the black community, we used to shame each other if we want to become a police officer or get into politics. We used to tell each other that, hey, that's some police shit. You don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. And I believe that we should actually go for these positions, like Trick said, and pursue these positions so we can pass laws for ourselves. We can't always wait for the stuff to come. We can just go in the kitchen and make the meal ourselves.
All right. Okay. Shout out to
The
you.
name I couldn't remember was Brother Dan. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Your little ass chain, your little ass mustache. It was Brother Dan. That's the person I couldn't remember. I apologize.
Yeah. Okay. We moving on. We moving on.
I wanted to address number two, Afro.
Oh yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Um, Cops do more good in the black folk than harm. It's important to say what type of black folk. It honestly is. So I do have a branch of my family that's all law enforcement. I can ask them about the racism and policing, things like that. I have cousins that I love that turned into, like, they went from security guards to becoming police, right? What I do notice is that they have a different demeanor, and there's a running statement that says black cops are the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, I think it was Tyree Nichols? I really hear of a black cop unaliving us. Now, can they be pricks? Yes, they can. I think we need to do heavy vetting, make sure that they are of the lineage, that they want to be honest policemen, where they want to. When I was growing up, we had cops that walked the beat. And so our parents felt okay to send us to school by ourselves at a certain time because we knew there was going to be a patrol cop on the corner and he wasn't one who was harassing us.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that it's important that when we say, what that said, cops do more good in the black folk than harm. I'm not too sure about that. I know that we do get unalived, especially in New York, by police. Police brutality is the thing. Some of them can be pricks. But then there are some who honestly love the community, but they are far and few between in my anecdotal experience. I think it depends on the person. Are they just looking for a job and benefits, or do they really want to help the community? And so there has to be some heavy vetting for us. But at this stage in the game, no, they don't, because they still unaliving us in New York. They still pricks in New York. They still dickheads in New York. And so we really, really need to do heavy vetting. But yes, we should police our own, but we have to make sure even they care about us. Because is Brandon Tatum a former cop?
Yeah,
Do I have that correct?
yeah, he is.
Okay, then and he's a prick.
Yes, he is.
So
He's a former cop.
so we have to understand and know if they really there to help our community or if they're just looking for a paycheck. That's what I say to that.
Now, my brother to the host. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. How do you feel
you're
about
gonna start
foundational
roasting
black?
again.
Hello.
Don't
No,
start
I'm finna ask
roasting.
him.
No, it's how
Okay, I'm
cause
gonna
I
ask
might be in
him
a
a
roasting mood
question.
too. So we gonna figure this out. How do I feel?
Oh, I'll go live if you want to roast my brother. I will let you see my hair. I will only go video for you, so you can roast my.
But how do
He's
I feel?
actually a fan. I love that for him.
How do I feel about what?
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. How do you feel about young foundational Black Americans joining ICE?
How do I feel about it? I feel like, well, I mean, they a part of this country. We are a part of this country. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that at all. We're part of this country. There's good benefits. There's good things for it. They're not targeting our community. I would advise people to be careful. If a Black American does want to do something with ICE, I would advise you all to be very careful. I don't think it's immoral, but for instance, if you do get caught up in a situation pop off like what we've seen before, and a lawsuit falls down, they're gonna go after the black folk. They're not gonna go anybody else in that department. So anytime you work in any department, especially dealing with a badge, especially dealing with any type of weapons or anything like that, you need to be careful, because if something go wrong, they will throw you under the bus. So I want you to be careful with that. However,
Okay.
as an
Okay.
American, you can look at it in a sense of you serving your community, which is in a way you are. So I don't
Okay,
got issues.
okay, because as a former, I agree with that, my brother. As a former somebody that used to be a public servant, so I agree with that, my homie. So if you ever want to get your roast on, I'll turn my light on, because when I turn my camera on, I want you to roast me. I recommend you light skinned dude with these little beards and these little mustaches. I promise you, with your little necklace on, I
Oh
want
my
y'all to
gosh.
roast
Nori,
me.
I
Okay.
absolutely
All
have to
right.
respond to this. Nori, I have to. I have to because this is intersectionality, right? It's intersectionality when we're looking at this prompt. And a lot of people in the trick guy, whatever, I don't see
I'm sorry, I
the
don't
last
know
part.
Trick Flat. My name is, everybody know this name. It's not hard to, cause my picture, I just changed my. I'm sorry, sister. My picture, I had to prove a point to somebody to show them an indigenous
Okay,
person
we
versus a
gotta keep the room
foundational black
flowing. We
I
man.
gotta
wasn't.
keep the room flowing.
Yeah. So I was gonna say this really quickly, but yeah, Trick Flex. That's your name, whatever.
Trick
So
Flair. Trick Flair.
Trick Flair, very intriguing. So I'm
Picture
gonna
is a
say this.
foundational black American.
And you're a roaster. We get it. You know, you're like, oh my God, he's light skinned and he has a small beard and the way that he's looking serious. And then, like, I'm not going to answer the prompts. I don't actually have anything intelligent to say except for roasting. But I do think that roasting is intelligent,
Wow.
right? Except, yeah, I do believe
Wow.
that. Yeah,
Wow.
it's
No,
the way
no. I follow my brother
yeah.
on all platforms. I follow my brother
Anyways, there's someone new on the
on all
freaking
platforms.
prompt, and it's getting boring.
Yeah,
Drunky or
yeah,
Drinky, I can't see your name. Be
yeah. You've
offended
been
by
roasting in
it.
the chat room. I'm gonna need everybody to kind of wake up.
Hit the like, hit the share, hit the everything.
Drake or
And I follow
drink.
you on here on all platforms,
Thank
brother.
you. Okay, drink. You requested
Can you
up.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're preaching right wing talking points.
What right wing talking points am I preaching?
We should stay with the Republicans and the cops and all that stuff.
Is that what you heard me say?
Yeah.
Why are you lying? Because that's not what I said. I said the opposite.
No,
You're from Puerto Rico, right? I remember talking to you the other day. You're from Puerto Rico, correct?
I think you're talking about another person.
No, I'm talking about you. I know. I remember you're from Puerto Rico, right? Because you was putting up a whole bunch of Puerto Rican flags. You're from Puerto Rico, correct? Just tell the truth.
No, I'm FBA.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not FBA.
No, he not. I was there. I was there that night. He's from Puerto Rico. I was
Okay.
there that night. So in
What?
case you're not correct.
Okay. So you're a Democrat shill, right? As most tethers are, right?
I'm independent.
You're an independent.
Yep.
What have you? Oh, so what do you have to say about Trump being better? Number one, Trump and the Republicans are better for black people than Democrats. What do you have to say about that?
Neither side is good.
You said what?
The left hand is holding the right hand.
Is that not what we said?
No, y'all are preaching like right-wing talking points.
Okay, you know what?
Stuff.
You're not
Why
even
do they
really.
always have that low voice?
You're not
They're
even.
always like,
You're
the
not.
way.
He's trying to hide his accent. Afro, one moment, y'all. I'm gonna have to scroll out and come back unless you check the tabs because I don't have all my mod powers. I don't know what's going on.
I tried to set this up before. It's not okay, but
All the tabs
I'm
are
working on.
green. Okay.
He trying
I
to
might
sound
have to
sexy.
scroll out.
He trying to sound
He's
sexy.
trying to hide
and-
his accent.
Yeah, he's trying to
He's
hide
trying to
his
hide his
accent because
accent.
I know he's Puerto Rican. I talked to him before, so I already know that. But trying to come off because he already knows what's gonna happen when he's Puerto Rican. So he's trying to come off.
He might not
have
be.
a conversation with it, but
But he sound
he's
like
slowing
old
the
boy.
conversation
What's old boy
down.
name?
So we're going to move on. BX, I'm trying to hook you up right now. She just left. Well, when she comes back, we're gonna hook her up. TikTok is doing something weird.
No, they're doing a lot of weird things. That's why I came up today. Yeah, just keep tapping and whatnot because you're not even getting your numbers. And I know you get the likes up way faster. So everybody in the chat, tap it up or whatever.
Yeah.
They're going hard at FBAs today. Black American types, American Indian types.
Yeah.
But his low voice and the way that I'm offended. Like, it's so weird.
You all are
Tap it
up.
Hey guys, I'm trying to sound like this because I want to sound inconspicuous.
Okay. We're going to move on to the next point. Let me get BX back up here. TikTok is really doing something weird tonight, but we're gonna make it happen. No matter what, we're gonna make it happen. Just gotta load her back up. But as we're doing that, we're gonna get to the next point. The next point is black people hurt black people more than any other group. So what that means is black on black crime, and black on black crime hurts other black people more than anything else, and racism doesn't really hurt any black person or anything like that. That's what they're saying. Okay, there BX goes. There she goes. Okay, she should be coming up right now. That's what they're saying. Black people hurt black people more than any other group. This is false, historically false. And the only thing you can do to even make this point is you have to ignore all of the harm that happens to black people outside of the black community. It's absolutely not true. That point is absolutely not true. All right? There's no truth to it at all. Even when you talk about crime is not, when they talk about black on black crime, what they're really talking about is criminals doing proximity crime. Okay? These criminals who are doing this crime would be doing crimes if they were in other neighborhoods. They just happen to live around black people, so the victims of their crimes are other black people. They're not doing it to them because they are black. If they were in another neighborhood, they would rob another 7-Eleven or carjack somebody else, break into somebody else's house. All right? It's not, nobody's doing, black people are not doing it to black people because they're black. They're doing that because it's a crime of proximity. They are a criminal and they will do crime close to them. All right? In the same sense, everybody else does crime in proximity. Okay? When you talk about white tea people do white tea crime to white tea people. That term doesn't get bought up. That term does not get bought up. Hispanics, Asians, all of these other people do crime to all of these other people. They don't have any Asian on Asian crime, white on white crime. They don't have that stuff. They'll have it on black people because they want to pathologize it and put this stigma on our community and our culture that this is some type of immoral thing, right? They'll bring up, well, that's because in the argument, in the debate, he was talking about some of the debaters were all like, oh, well, that's because of poverty. And he's like, oh, no, it's not because of poverty. It's because of a mindset. And that's the point that conservatives make. They try to disregard all factors that lead to a criminal environment, such as corruption, such as poverty, such as corrupt policing, police corruption, police misconduct, and over policing and all that. They ignore all of these factors because once you acknowledge these factors' existence, then you have to put the blame someplace else. But the only way you can solely put the blame on black people is if you ignore all of that and say, well, no, that's just because you guys listen to hip hop. And if you guys didn't listen to Chief Keef, you guys wouldn't be doing that. No, that's not true. Let me debunk this right now before I let other people weigh in on it. Hip hop does not increase crime. It don't. It don't increase crime. It does not. Okay? And they only bring this up with hip hop. We have crazy, wild, violent TV shows, violent movies, violent video games, all of that stuff. Nobody says, well, the only reason you did that is because you play GTA. Nobody says that. Nobody says, well, if you didn't watch that, if you didn't watch John Wick, you wouldn't be. Nobody says that. Okay? If you didn't watch Breaking Bad, you wouldn't be doing. Nobody says that. Only when it comes to rap music do people act like the entertainment is somehow brainwashing people into committing crimes. No, that's not it. That's not it. These people, I'm going to be very honest with you. Crime has been an issue before rap was ever a thing. If rap disappeared tomorrow, people would still commit crimes because criminals commit crimes. That's just what it is. Okay? If it's not because there's not a single person who was a law-abiding citizen who one day they turned on Little Dirk and now all of a sudden they're a gang member. That's just not how it happens. No. It's not how it happens. Okay? There's too many people who listen to rap music every single day. The most violent rap, the most quote unquote degenerate rap you can talk about, and they don't do none of the stuff in the song at all. None of it. Okay? Which is most black people. Most black people don't do any crime, period. Not none. And most black people don't agree with crime. Most black people don't agree with any of that. Now, can the argument be made that we need more positive music? Yeah, I think so. Okay, yeah, the argument can be made that we should have more positive music. And if you want to criticize it, I don't think it's anything wrong with the criticism. However, the connection and correlation between hip hop and crime is to weaponize black American culture and to say you all have this almost degenerate culture that breeds violence, and it's their way of covering up all of their corruption that actually leads to the violence. All right? So anybody want to say anything about that? About black people hurting black people more than anybody else?
I
Yes.
absolutely do. Oh, okay.
You
DX.
first, Jasmine. That way, if you
Okay.
start going off the rails, I have a reason
Okay.
to stop you. Go ahead.
All right. This is actually what I've been thinking about all day, and I was kind of just, sensing or whatever into our FBA Heart Center. These people, when it goes to like what you just said, Afro Lee, about, oh, why is it when we do these things, basically, I'm going to just summarize it, for the people who are, maybe slower learners or are different learner types. They're like, why don't you get that? It's the same thing. They don't get it because in our community, the FBA community, Black American community, aka African American community, above and beyond, when we say you just don't know what you don't know, we also are so not far removed to what the reality is that we know what we know. They come on to these apps and they'll say stuff. They'll try to like cosplay us when it goes to your number 3 point. Let me make sure I stay on point because I do a monologue. Black people hurt Black people more than any other group. No, Black Americans have never separated ourselves from other Black Americans, whether they're biracial, bi-ethnic, different cultures, Creole, mulatto, whatever. We don't do those things because we're not tribalists like that, right? The Melungeons, Galagiche. It was only recently when other quote unquote Black people, the people who are saying that Black equals African, started coming over here and started to tell us that we don't know what we're talking about when they fled from their homelands where they didn't even call themselves Black. They call themselves by their freaking tribes, and they know that they're separate from each other. We're the only people who have these Negroid phenotypes they keep saying is African, whatever, they want to attach themselves to. They don't do this to the freaking Melanesians. They don't do that. And they actually look more freaking African than us. They don't do that to them. They don't do that too. I'm not done talking, Rolla. You always do this. It's always
That's
when
not
Jazz
Rolla,
talks.
that
Hold
was
on, hold on.
Afro.
Yeah, let's.
Okay. I thought it was Rolo that came off. I just saw the thing that came off. I won't go too far, but we're the only people when it comes to being Black that our Black is somehow more African than the other Blacks. I'm gonna land. Why is it that we're the only group of people that the Africans are trying to say are African, as opposed to the other people who are definitely more Negroid in features
You're
than
getting off
us?
topic. You're getting off topic. It's
All
about
right,
Black
I
people
land.
hurt Black. You finished, Jasmine?
I land.
Thank you.
I land.
So I think that we need to
Somebody, hold
enter the word.
on. Somebody asked in the comments, does the host acknowledge comments? Yeah, I do. You have a question?
You can
Ask your question. Or
request.
you can come up. You can come up and have a conversation
Yeah.
with us if you want to. BX,
Well,
you
can
got
I
it.
say something?
No, not right now.
Hold on.
It's an order. It's an order, y'all. It's an order, and whoever has a question can come up on the panel and have the discussion with the host. I'll remain on mute. But I just want to say this: we have to enter into the chat. Proximity. Don't answer her questions. She's baiting. Proximity, right? Those who are harmed by those who they are most around. Black on black crime isn't a thing, it's proximity crime. And if you live in a diverse city, right, then you don't know if those melanated folks are even your people. But when we say black on black crime, they ain't entering those people into the chat. They're talking about Black Americans. And I really don't like speaking on Chicago when Afro Lee is up here, right? He can speak on Chicago, just like I don't like when y'all be in the comments, New York is Tetherville. You think I don't know? Like I ain't in the belly of the beast? Like, so, but I got to bring up Chicago. There's an agenda going on with Chicago. And when I realized this around 2011, I want to say, I started doing the research. And the way that you get rid of your crime rate, you decrease your crime rate, is to increase job opportunities. And that will decrease the crime even amongst the youth. So I say all of that to say this. When it comes to foundational Black Americans, because we were subjugated and targeted in our own land, right? If we don't create, where it's systematic, the crime and the conditions that we're put under, and it has to be handled systematically. As you can see, you go into a fast food restaurant, we don't have those jobs. Our youth don't have those jobs. We don't even have the call centers. That was a youth job. And so what happens when people are hungry? They start committing crime, and they know if they go past our neighborhood, they're looking at football numbers if they're going to the white tea areas and all of this. So I'm just saying that so-called, okay, black people harming black people more than any other group is systematic, is exaggerated, and we have the highest exoneration rate. But whatever crime we have in our communities, we have to increase job opportunities over more policing. That's what I'm going to say, y'all. That's all.
I also want to add, right, watching the thing, the conversation of Tulsa, Oklahoma got brought up when he made this point. The conversation of Tulsa, Oklahoma get brought up. And I'm telling you, this dude, something else. He whitewashed Tulsa, Oklahoma in a way I've never seen anybody whitewash. I'm telling you, I'm so serious. I've never seen anybody do it like I've seen him do it ever. I've never seen that before. He said it was not about race at all. It was a conflict in which black people lost the conflict. That was completely untrue. Okay? It was a riot, and I'm trying to use the word riot to be more PG than it really was. It was a riot. It was a racial riot that cost about 300 people their lives. All right? Black people, right? That they started under a fake allegation of a black man touching or just allegedly touching a white T female. All right. That's what it was. And, at that time, they were using black males doing things to white females as a reason to run in a community and then just go crazy. Okay. This is why it's important to understand all of the history of that, because Tulsa wasn't the only Black Wall Street. Now, it's probably the most popular one, the most known one, but it wasn't at all the first riot, the first Wall Street or anything. They've been known to go into communities, just mobs of people, not the Triple K, not just them, mobs of people go into communities. If they can't completely take it over, they'll burn it down. All right. There was a case even when we talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma, they dropped, what's the word for it? I can't say what's
the first boom booms
from a dust cloud. They dropped boom booms on it, okay? Because I know I can't, but they dropped that. All right, the state aided them in that. All right, the state aided them in that. They're Black Americans have never in the history of our culture done anything remotely close to doing that to each other or to anybody else, period, ever. We've never done that. And nobody, to this day, nobody at all was ever held accountable for that. None of them were ever arrested. None of them were ever punished. There was never any reparations. You still have, I think, one survivor alive today, and they denied her reparations. There was 3 at a time. All right, they were all like 100 years old, and they denied them reparations. 2 of them have since transitioned. Rest in peace to them. And one of them, she still hasn't gotten reparations for it. All right. So you can't tell me that black people hurt black people more than anybody else when we still got survivors of this situation who don't get reparations, and y'all shrugging y'all shoulders like, oh, well, that's too bad. Okay, the only way you can make that argument is to completely ignore all of the harm that is done to us. Even when you talk about, well, black people sell hard candy to other black people. When you talk about the epidemic in like the 80s, right? When you talk about that, then you have to factor in who bought that in there. Because I'm telling you, it didn't grow out the ground. It didn't rain out the sky. Who bought all of these hard candy substances in the community? All right. Let's be honest about that. Even the show Snowfall bought that up. So everything you talk about black people hurting other black people, these are manufactured conditions that are done from outside of the community. All right. By the oppressor class of the community. Okay. And according to Tatum, he's such a master lover, he can't blame their community for anything at all they do, not especially harming us. He's going to excuse and justify any harm that comes to us, period. There is not a single time ever you've seen him defend a black person. Ever. He's never going to be on our side on any circumstance. Okay? So you have to completely understand that. I do want to get to that point because I do hear some people be all like, man, we got to stop. How are we going to respect? How are we going to like, even when they talk about like the N-word or something, like, how are we going to expect them to stop saying it if we don't stop saying it? And I don't want to turn this conversation into an N-word conversation, but here's the thing. All of this policing that we do to ourselves as a way to say we need to do better in order to be treated better, we need to understand that their mistreatment of us is not in response to our misdeeds. Their mistreatment of us is not response to what we've done to them or at all, period. Their mistreatment of us is completely unjustified. And when you try to even put a little bit of the blame on us, you're taking it away from them. You're taking it away from them and giving them a rationale, even if it's unjust. You're giving them a reason and a justification to continue this mistreatment. To say, well, maybe they're doing too much, but if we weren't listening to all that rap music, if y'all weren't sagging, if y'all would just respect the police, if y'all would just pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, if y'all would just do that, you're taking the accountability away from them. All right? And putting that in your victim blaming, and you're putting that on the community, which is what he does all the time. He does that all the time. That's what he's known for, right? He's known for that. So I don't want anybody to feel as if, and there might need to be another conversation about this, but I don't want anybody to feel as if we're denying self accountability, because I'm all for accountability. I'm all for that, and I think that that is an important element into the growth of any group of people, any community. Accountability is that. However, we have to make sure we put accountability in its proper context. Because if you're telling me that the victim is always the one who needs to be held accountable, then you're not solving anything and you're actually creating a worse problem. Okay? You're creating an environment where harm of people gets to go unpunished. All right? With impunity. That's what you're doing in reality. Even if there's a duality and a little bit of a nuance between, well, maybe you can hold the person accountable, or maybe the person, even if you're not holding them accountable, maybe they can grow from this. You cannot at all, you have to be careful not to at all try to recuse the blame of the actual perpetrator. Using this example, everybody with a car, you have keys. You can lock your door. Everybody knows when you leave your car, you lock your door. Even when your car is at your house, you still lock your door. You still lock your door. Every time you park anywhere, you lock your door. Okay? That's a very normal thing to do. If you don't lock your door and somebody goes inside and gets whatever is in your car or even steals the car, they are 100% at fault for stealing the car. However, you should lock your door still. You understand? You should lock your door. You should lock your car door, your front door. You should lock that. And this is a way to prevent the situation. You're putting up preventative measures. So if somebody said, hey, you next time lock the door, that part isn't victim blaming. But if you then turn it into, well, if you can't get mad at them because you didn't lock your door. No, me having the door unlocked is not an invitation to have any of the items in the car stolen or the car itself stolen. All right. And that's the logic that they'll use. They'll say, well, if you didn't lock your door, then you can't get mad that your car is stolen. No, yes, you can. You can get just as mad that your car is stolen as if your car was locked. Are you following? Right? So having that conversation needs maturity in good faith. And Tatum doesn't have conversations in good faith.
I have a
Okay.
question before I make a statement.
Mm-hmm.
At this stage in the game, I have to ask: is Brandon Tatum lineage?
To my knowledge, I haven't found anything, and I have looked. I haven't found anything that points me to him not being that.
So I know you say you didn't want to turn this into an N-word conversation, but I have something to say about that. Recently, I noticed the progressives in New York mentioning Alabama. I mean AOC, Cardi B, and some lady, I'm not sure of her lineage, but she has spoken at our reparations hearings and tried to tether on Palestine and all these other immigrants talking about it's about land back.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an agenda going on that way. But Cardi B is infamous for saying she understands the N word is bad, but it's the lingo. You know, she's born in the birthplace, all this other mess. But you can't call Cardi B a Mexican or a dirty Mexican because the Mexican they say is equivalent to the N word. I don't believe that's true. About the N word, also, these other groups, it's not us primarily saying the N word. So I've met people who migrated here from places like California, places from southern states. And what they all notice is that our people are not primarily running around here saying the N word. It's them other folks, primarily the Latinos. So I think that everybody needs to understand that y'all have slurs for your ethnic groups. The N word isn't your slur. And how we decide to process the N word is on us. Now, I do have elders that be like, I don't want to hear none of y'all saying that word. Not our family, not other people's family, and they are within the age of the boomers. Some march for civil rights and all this, that, and the third. So I think that it's very important for you not to chastise us about how we process the word for the harms and the systemic harms that we had to face under the N word, but ask other people, why do they feel such a need to tell us we can't say it if they don't get to say it? There are certain things that other communities we just understand. It's not our place to do or say what they do to their own people. Like, I can't go over to a Puerto Rican and call him a cabron. Do you know what a cabron is? That's a man who knows his wife cheated on him. And I have enough respect to not even if it's true, not to go over there and say that I understand their word was the SPIC word. I have enough respect because it harms them when they started migrating here. But because they have no ancestral connection and a lack of emotional ties to the word, they feel they can say it. And that all started, gotta say this. Look at Fat Joe. Now, y'all don't see the number of times that we told him stop saying the word. You only seen when he went viral, he going to say it. Nobody could tell him he can't say it. And then Remy came and condoned that Puerto Rican was black. And we know that he is a white Puerto Rican and Cuban. So the N word, I'm going to say this about the N word, is up to people's discretion. And 9 times out of 10, it's not Black Americans saying it, nor did we give them the pass. It's other folks melanated similarly to us, and then we look at everybody and say, why are they saying the N word? Because they have no ancestral connection to the word, no emotional ties. They have no cultural, they don't respect cultural boundaries, and they don't understand cultural respect. So I'm going to just say, be careful when using the N word, everybody, because some of our elders don't want to hear it, nor should they have to hear it. And I don't want to hear nobody saying the N word who is not foundational Black Americans, because I get now why we say it. And we only say it in certain instances. Not everybody else should say that word. And that's where I'm at with that. Were you on number 4? Systemic racism is used as an excuse to avoid personal accountability.
Not
Can we
yet.
move on to that? Can I respond to
No,
that really quickly?
hold on.
Please, really quickly.
No, there's a couple of people who haven't spoken at all yet, so we got to get to them.
I'm gonna start calling people specs, but that's okay. All right.
We got to get to Lester. Really, my brother Curtis. That's my brother Curtis. Curtis.
Hello?
Yes,
Can
brother.
you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me loudly?
Yeah, all the way from Philadelphia.
That's right. And yesterday was my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Big 66. Thanks, man. Big 66, man.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, man. How y'all ladies doing?
Well, I'm a lady. I'm doing fine.
Okay,
Happy
that's good.
birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Um, well, what I would are we saw another two about the popo?
We were really on number 3, but if you want to address number 2, you can.
Yeah, I just want to say something happened to a true testimony happened to me. I'm gonna say like 78, 79. It was like I said, I used to live in the YT neighborhood, but most of my friends live like 4 or 5 blocks down. It was maybe like 3 or 4 of us standing on the corner in a black neighborhood, and I remember a YT Popo came up to us and just tossed against the wall, and I never forget this, man. And what he did, the white Popo, he put a gun to my head, and what I was looking through my parental vision, right? And it was a black cop there. And he called me the N word, and so I looked at my provincial eyes, and I looked at the black guy, and the black guy was he was just standing. The black cop just standing there, man. I said, "Wow, man," and that's not the only time because I was more scared of my neighborhood where I lived in than my friends because I know how the white people is. You understand?
Hmm.
But the thing is that I always took this to heart. If you look at money, it says, "In God we trust." That means the only person you can trust is God, especially if you're living in the white community. Because I was not born, but I was raised around it since 1968. But my pop, if you look it up, my house is on 4535 Old Stage Avenue in Philadelphia. You can see I come from 7 bedroom house, and like I said before, if you want to look it up. But make a long story short, because like I said, you just can't. You can't trust those people for real, for real. I was raised up, like, listen, hey, you stick with your own kind. You understand? So that's all I want to say, Afro League. I ain't gonna talk too long,
I
because
appreciate
it's past my bedtime. For
No,
real.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
I sincerely hope you do not stay in this address that you just.
No.
Okay.
I live in Northeast Philadelphia. Now,
You don't have to say no
this is
more.
when I
Hold
was
on.
a kid.
That's
Oh, okay.
we don't need
Okay.
no more than that. Thank you,
Yeah.
brother.
Okay.
Because
Yeah. Okay.
people on this app, they'll snap that, they'll take a
Yeah. Yeah.
snapshot of
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't.
Yeah. I don't live in that neighborhood no more, but that neighborhood was more creepy to me. You understand?
Okay. All
I was
right.
born down the black bottom, brother. 39th from Lancaster Avenue. You
Okay.
know,
No, don't say
Okay.
that.
Okay.
You're giving them too
This
much
brother, he
info.
gonna sit up there. He be all like, yeah, and I leave the spare key on the mat. I got the big tree,
yeah.
with flowers around it. I have
All right,
that
don't
right in the
give him
front
no
on my.
idea. But Afro,
Oh,
did you hear how special that was? He said that it's past his bedtime. That means Curtis waited up for you just to get up here and talk to you and stuff.
for
Aw,
some.
I like
That's
that.
my brother. That's my brother Curtis.
Yep.
All right, let's get speaker. We have Jazz Ray. How you
Hello,
doing?
my name is Jasmine as well.
How
Nice
you
to meet
doing?
you all.
Nice to meet you
Good, how
too.
are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Very good. I know we're not at number 4 yet. I was hoping to respond to that, so I'll wait
Okay.
until we get there. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Number 4 was his last point. He said systemic racism is used as an excuse to avoid personal accountability. He brings up, and I want us to all understand this as somebody who was pro accountability because I feel like that is growth. He brings up people saying stuff like, well, I'm not this way because the white man is holding me back. You shouldn't necessarily think this way. What you should think is that there is a system that deliberately places obstacles in your path because of who you are. Okay? Not because of what you've done, because of how you were born. That is it. That's all you've done. You have not done nothing wrong. Now, is it possible to overcome these obstacles? Yes, it is. It has always been possible. It is something that black people are striving for every day. However, even though you're jumping over these hurdles, you still must acknowledge each and every hurdle that you have to jump over. Okay, you can't run through the hurdles and pretend they don't exist. Otherwise, you're not going to get to the destination. You have to strategically jump over and avoid all of these hurdles. Even if you do win, you still have to acknowledge the fact that there's hurdles on my lane and not on his lane. All right. And these are barriers and limitations that are strategically placed, systematically placed to keep the black community in its position. All right. We have a whole bunch of lawsuits where black people are being denied business loans. Black people are denied fair mortgage rates. Black people's houses are being, I wish that point was brought up. The point wasn't brought up in that debate. I'm not getting on the debaters. Sometimes they don't really have enough time to really address the points, whatever. Some people didn't even get a chance to debate them, period. You have, there was one case, and this was recent, where a black family was trying to get their house appraised, and the appraiser appraised the house for a much lower amount than the house was worth. And they kind of felt that way. They were all like, I feel like this house is a little bit more than that. So what they did is they swapped with, I think, a white friend or neighbor or something. And they took all the pictures and stuff like that off the wall and replaced them. And they had another appraiser come in. And that appraiser saw this Caucasian person as the owner of the house. And then they gave a more accurate appraisal of the house. Same house, same neighborhood, no renovations, nothing's changed. The economy didn't change. This was recent. It's not like this house was this way and then they did it 5 years later. This was back to back. And the Caucasian family got a higher appraisal. And this is a common practice. Because once that was done and discovered, it opened a can of worms for them to understand that this happens quite frequently, where black property is appraised at a much lower rate just because you as a black person own it. It's way more valuable than they'll give it to you for. But because you own it, it's less valuable. And they do that all the time, right? They do that all of the time. So these are the barriers and limitations and things that create a glass ceiling for the black community. All right. Does that mean that we are stuck and it is impossible to overcome that? No, and I don't want us to even think that it is. However, acknowledge the obstacle though. Okay? We got too many people who are, and honestly, the people who don't want to do that, truth be told, they're just scared. They're scared to acknowledge the fact that no, even if I got all this stuff, even if I'm successful in all of this stuff, I have people who just because I'm black didn't want me to get here. And that's the truth. They did not want me to get here because I'm black, and that's the truth. And they try and they put an effort into preventing me from getting here because I'm black. And that's the truth as well, too. And you have to understand this is in every field. This is in entertainment. This is in politics. This is in health. Because somebody also brought up the medical racism, right? And he dismissed that. So this is in health. This is in education. This is in everything. Okay, economics, everything. Right? So yeah, all of this stuff is very true. All of this stuff is something that we all need to know. Now, that point, I wish that point, to be honest, I wish they would have extended that part of the debate, because I think that was the real meat and potatoes of the debate. I feel like if that part in 3, I like 3 and 4 were, I think, the best parts in my opinion. If those 2 parts were extended, I think that would have been better. But sometimes the speaker would get there and then people start raising their flags and then they got to get up and somebody else got to speak, and or they run out of time on the subject and they have to move on. So it is what it is. But what do y'all have to say about that?
Can I say something about the debate quickly?
I want to hear Jazz Way first because she's new on the panel. Let's just get her thoughts and then you could go and I'll go last.
Thank you. Just really want to say everything you said is absolutely 100% true. I am in the education field. I have 3 degrees. I have a bachelor's degree and I have 2 master's degrees. I am Black American. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, still living here. Despite my success, and I went to a top-notch school in Los Angeles. I graduated from USC. That is considered one of the top schools. Despite that, I still faced issues within the education field as a child. I went to school in South Central Los Angeles, where I'm from, and we were ahead at that school. However, my mother worked and still works at this school on the west side of Los Angeles, which is basically like Beverly Hills area for those who are not familiar with LA. Very white, populated, and realized that we were actually behind everybody, those kids. So we were ahead with all the other Black kids at our elementary school, but the other kids, the white kids at the school she was working at, they were doing, they knew how to tell time. They knew how to they were learning multiplication in the second grade. We weren't doing that at all. Not only were they doing that, but they were receiving resources as well to other things, extracurricular. They were learning different languages. They were also learning how to play instruments. We didn't have an orchestra at my school. They were going on field trips to not just, the park like we were doing, but like these top-notch museums as well. And that was mainly because of what they had, what we called a booster club, where the parents who were very wealthy at this school were putting in money to support the students. And it just simply did not exist at my school. And I know for a fact that it didn't exist at other mostly Black populated schools in South Central. It just didn't. So the lack of resources is also an example of the chasm, I guess, between Black people, especially white people as well, especially if you have money. I've seen it for myself. Now, I was still able to get a good education, and I pushed myself and I went to college. That's not to say that I didn't, but as you said, you have to acknowledge that there are barriers in place. That is a fact. And we are not making excuses. We are still trying. We're still here. We're still working. We're getting those degrees. We're starting our own businesses. However, those barriers do exist. And to acknowledge them does not mean that we're coming up with excuses at all. It just simply means that we are acknowledging that there are issues that are in place and that have been in place for centuries, and they need to be dismantled. And I hope my goal is to give back to Black kids, hopefully with my own knowledge, using my degrees, and help them jump over these hurdles and not wait until they get to college, right, to realize that maybe they didn't get as equal of an opportunity in education as other kids did. I'm hoping to close that chasm eventually. That's going to take some money and some help. But yeah, it's just basically I'm agreeing with what you said, and I've experienced it for myself. And that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
I want to respond to this because I am from South Central LA. I grew up in the hills and I grew up in the valley. And my parents are from literally South Central LA, Linwood to be exact, and other parts of that area, whatever. So when I hear people who come over, and I'm not accusing you or anything, I'm just listening to your accent. I'm listening to the things that you're saying, right? And it just doesn't clock it for me. A lot of people move to LA from other parts of the US and other parts of different continents and countries and pretend to be us. But one thing about LA is we're very, very, very fake, people say, because we're listening to you, we're listening to the things that you say, and it just didn't match up with the stuff that you were just saying. What high school did you go to, love? Since you're from LA, Jazrae.
Oh yes. Are you accusing me of not being from LA?
No. What high school did you go to?
I went to Oh, no. So I went to elementary in South Central. I went to Windsor
What's the
Hills.
school that you went to?
Windsor Hills.
Windsor Hills is the elementary school that you went to in South Central LA.
Correct. I don't know why I would lie about that, but I did. And then I transferred to Hancock Park, which is on the west side. Then I went to John Burroughs Middle School. I stayed on the west side. And then I went to Fairfax High from there. I wouldn't lie about that.
No, okay. You just might as well.
I am a third generation Angelino. My grandmother was born in South Central. My mother was born in South Central.
And where are you from, though?
Okay,
I'm from South Central.
Let's get back. Hold on. We don't have. Jasmine, I'm gonna let you get
Wait, Afro, real fast.
This is weird.
So what no. I get where Jasmine is coming from, because I would do it with a New Yorker. But what we all want to know is, are you foundational Black American?
I am, yes. So my maternal grandmother, her family came from Arkansas. My paternal family is from North Carolina.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all we could do,
BX,
Jasmine.
do you have anything you want to add to the conversation?
Yes,
I don't let the accent thing go, but I don't believe it. But all right.
That's fine. But listen, Jasmine. She'll be back. She likes the space. She's welcome to come up and talk. And sometimes when people are cosplaying us, it comes out in other panels. But for right now, we can't prove she's not who she said she is. So
no, I get it. I'm letting it go. But
right. Thank you. Because I just want to give my submission. This wasn't supposed to be a long one. At the end of the day, she said she's from Arkansas and North Carolina. Her roots are from Arkansas and North Carolina, and she's helping the community. If we find out otherwise, that's different. But for right now, I'm gonna let it go and answer this question because I really thought about it. Systemic racism is used as an excuse to avoid personal accountability. So first of all our issues are systemic. I just said that. In order for that statement to be true, we would have had to have been repaired from the systematic harms that already happened to us, hence reparations for us, foundational Black Americans, right? So until they repair us, they can't tell us how to complain. And even then, they still can't tell us how to complain about the things we are going through that are systematic. Does that make sense, Afro?
Yeah, it does. It's perfect. Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say to that. That's all I wanted to say. We got to be repaired in order for you to tell us that it's not. We have not been repaired. I argue that the immigrants who migrated here, and you know I talk about this all the time, Afro, they say we all Black, but they got the Caribbean caucus, Haitian caucus, African caucus, Somali caucus, they got the Asian caucus, the Hispanic caucus. They got all these caucuses, and the one that's supposed to be for us, Shirley Chisholm helped to establish, and is filled with Caribbeans today, and that's why they operate off of broad. Black. So Black has lost its definition, and even African American, for as much as we don't like the term, has lost its true definition. And they are paying themselves reparations, not only here with all the business grants, the home ownership loans, the this, the that, the third. They're getting funding sent to their nations. And then turn around and tell us they ain't leaving unless we give them a return or a refund on the taxes they paid. The taxes is the bare minimum, because guess what? My taxes that I don't want to pay for foreign aid is going to foreign aid. And some of that foreign aid is for their actual countries. So until they repair foundational Black American communities, everything is systematic. And these other folks just lent our subjugation. I don't want to hear that no more. It's systemic. Whatever happens to foundational Black Americans, we do feed into certain type of things. But we're locked out of key industries and all this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, we're getting the blame for everybody and their crime and their GANG violence in our community. What about Black on Black crime? And when they say that, they're not including themselves, but we all Black anyway, right? No, we're not. And the Black people were harmed on this land, and we need repair. So until they repair us systematically, don't you tell me it's to escape accountability, because then you're allowing the government and the people that come and be the government's tools to escape the accountability that they do to us. And we're tired of it. Period. That's it.
I'm going to say this last thing. Jazz Ray, come back around these towns again, right? You and your little friend, Lexi,
Jasmine,
she thought
Jasmine,
that.
Jasmine, Jasmine.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Ugh.
We're gonna get to the
But I'm
next
not from the
speaker.
hood. I'm from the hills.
We're gonna get to the next speaker. To how do you pronounce your name? Net?
Uh, you could just say nah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you like to add to the conversation?
Well, I just was looking at the prompt, and I was gonna, look at that. As far as what they were just talking about, it sounded like it wasn't on par with the prompt, but you probably had a conversation that was going on. But Trump and Republicans are better for black people than Democrats. Number one, I would say at this juncture, I would say yes. At this point in time, number two, cops do more good in the black folk than harm.
Yeah, I messed that up. But go ahead. I
Yeah,
meant to change
yeah.
it, but I can't change it right now. So go ahead.
All right, and I know what you was trying to
Black
ask. So,
community. Just change folk to community.
okay. To me, my father retired from the New York Police Department. So I don't think they do a disservice. I think everybody has a problem with anybody that has authority over them and they want to do what they want to do. But I don't see that. I think I think that the overall way that black people perceive it is the cops are the enemy, but I don't think it's true. Black people hurt black people more than any other group. I don't think so. No, I don't think black people hurt black people more than any other group. Of course, if you're living in the black community, you're around other black people, and so they're gonna have more issue with someone in your vicinity more so than anybody else, which also does speak to the larger point that it's all community more so than an overarching country. The whole country is this or that. Has to do with where you're at. Systemic racism is used as an excuse to uphold personal accountability. I can't see because there's some letters in front of it,
Yeah,
but
that's my name. It's avoid. I'm gonna switch it
avoid.
out next time I do these lives. I'm gonna switch it out because my name is on that side. So
On the
yeah, so the title, so you couldn't see the words, but it's avoid. Systemic
yeah.
racism is used as an excuse to avoid personal accountability.
I think that is being perpetuated on us at this point in time. Yes.
Okay. Systemic racism is being perpetuated. Okay. All right then. Well, yeah, I agree. I will say to the second point, to the cop point, I honestly do not believe that black people have some or any really unjustified feeling of animosity or reluctance to police. I feel like black people are pretty understanding of police in general. However, I'm just going to be honest, we have to be very realistic with the history that black people have with the police. We factor that in, you know. So, that's what I ain't gonna need to even say too much more of that because I already gave my stance, but kind of like that. But I get where you come from. Some people are tripping, but sometimes the police be tripping, and I think that's what people are upset about. That's me on that.
Yeah, and because one pretty good advancement that they made with police, the biggest thing was to me was body cams. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so body cams, you could see the whole interaction taking place. And like I said earlier, my father was a police officer,
Mm-hmm.
and he retired from the New York Police Department. I grew up in Queens, Cambria Heights, Queens. Went to PS 147, 192, August Martin before I moved down to Florida. And so being that I had a father who was police, it obviously is going to have me have a different outlook because I was worried about him coming home, you know. And so I think any system that we want to change, just like government, you have to be involved either as a voter or be a representative of some sort. But to be on the outskirts talking about something when you're not able to effectuate change is a misnomer. It's a mistake. It's something that is going to allow any type of thought that this is happening and it's real and it's not a perception. It's going to create that to perpetuate. And I think we have to get involved on every level and then just be honest about what we're seeing and what we want to change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of times we don't want to hear the bad news. We don't want to hear something that's bad in our community. But if you go to the doctor, you don't want him to say, "Oh, you're just fine. There's nothing wrong with you," even though you have a tumor that needs to be looked at to see if it's cancerous.
Got you.
You
Yeah,
have to be
yeah, I got you.
told this,
I
and
got you.
then
I got you.
yeah, so then we can do the tough work to get it repaired. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so that's my stance.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I got you. I do. I feel. I do. There's still room for improvement though, and we know that, and that we still need to hold them accountable because in that situation they do. And if your father's doing a good job, shout out to him. You know, he retired. If he was doing a good job serving the community, I'm not trying to belittle his service or disrespect him in any way. I hope you don't feel like I'm coming at you like that. I just want to acknowledge the other part of the situation as well too, because even with the body cam footage, we still have people who turn their body cams off, hide them. People got to sue to get body cam footages and stuff like that. So these people are signing up for this position. So they need to be held 100% accountable for all of what comes with that. All right. So that's me on it. But I'm a little bit stricter on the police than
Yeah,
than
I
like
mean,
you.
and I mean, with great power comes great responsibility.
Mm,
Now, but
yeah.
I do think that a job like a police, like a teacher, these jobs have to have a level of respect that the community just gives to them freely. They have to understand what these people are really here for. It's supposed to be for your safety as if you're police, they're first responders, teachers, teaching your kids. There's nothing more, nothing I can think that's better than that. And you would have to hold them on a high level. But when you see, when you see someone, a police officer could be chasing somebody, they catch them, they got them down, and they're trying to get handcuffs on them, and people just run out and they're like, "What are y'all doing? What are you?" You don't even know what's going on. I mean, you have no idea. So that kind of thing tells me that the job has been stigmatized to the
One
black
moment.
community, to the black
One moment.
community.
No, New
And
York has a history of police brutality. Let's be clear. The police aren't these, all of them, right? There are some good ones, but the NYPD is said to be one of the biggest gangs there is. Let's not forget the corruption that was in the NYPD. And I'm not saying that's your father, but sometimes there's a reason we are more likely to lose our lives out of the police departments in New York. Am I correct?
yeah, I don't know about that stat. I don't know if you said it. I'm gonna take you at face value. But I do know that
So did
nationwide.
Robert Brooks happen?
Who?
Sean Bell, Amadou Diallo, Abner Louima.
I remember
Like these
Louima.
are okay. Okay, so that's why the community is a little up in arms when we see the NYPD. I'm from a time when we understand that under the Hunts Point Bridge, that area over there by the strip club, the Wedge, Bruckner Boulevard, they were literally under the bridge there doing narcotics. So it may not be your father because you look melanated. But yeah,
I
the
look melanated.
NYPD had your profile picture. But
I mean, yeah.
Eleanor Bumpers, thank you. I did a panel on Eleanor Bumpers. So when you call an ambulance for a mental health call, the police have to come out. And Eleanor Bumpers was definitely foundational Black American. Her family migrated to New York from the South, and she was unalived. So they're not adequately trained in some areas, but I can't admit not all of them are bad, but because of the stigma, not the stigma, because of the actions of the bad ones and not too many speaking out against the bad ones, I can see
I,
our people's response to
I
somebody
would.
being handcuffed and we don't know what's going on. Stop and frisk was very prevalent. And my cousin was stopped in a business suit going to work. He ain't have nothing on him. So they do target us. That's all I was
Yeah,
trying to enter. Yeah.
yeah. When Giuliani did the stop and frisk, now obviously that's a violation of your constitutional rights, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not talking about violating people's rights. I'm not talking about anything like that. But when you figure police have 7 million encounters with just black people a year, 7 million a year on average, and we can say out of those we have 10 of them a year that we say, hey, this didn't go right, this person was unalived. Well, I mean, I don't want anybody to be unalive, but we're talking about people who are cops, and people are fallible, so it's never going to be perfect. Nothing that people do is going to be perfect. So we could just get off of that. So then what you got to do is hold them accountable when they don't do what they were supposed to do. But we also have to understand that someone has a weapon and they say, oh, they could have pew-pewed them in the leg. They could have. I'm like, you know how hard it is to shoot somebody in the leg in the middle of them moving around and do. I'm not holding nobody to that kind of standard, because this person has the weapon and they're protecting themselves and somebody else. Once the police officer shows up on the scene and you still ready to do all of that, hey, you put yourself in a position where you can be unalived legally by the police. And in some states, like I'm in now, Florida, stand your ground. You can't be doing all that. You can't be doing all that. So that's just saying.
I get what you're saying. I think that your father was a cop. Before you came in the room, I'm not sure how long you've been in here. I said I do have a branch of family that have become law enforcement. I can look at that a Latino and see who's going to go into law enforcement because there's a certain attitude. I understand you was worried about your father, but when we encounter the police, even in a traffic situation, we immediately get on guard because of their actions towards us. So that's what I'm saying. I think two things could be true, but we all need to have a very balanced view. We do. And when you say it's black people that's encountering the police at such high rates, I did a little investigation because the Jamaican Showers Posse is still active in New York. So is the Zopound, right? And they are classified as black. So when you're saying black people are encountering the police, what black people? Because then we got to go into deeper disaggregated numbers. So I just think that there's the broad view of black people encountering the police, and then there's black Americans. Right now, I'm talking about black Americans and how we've been targeted by certain police departments, such as the NYPD.
So
Now we
so
have
you believe?
hold on. We have more people coming up, and I want to give those people a chance to speak. Before we do, I want to address one comment though. When you said, there's respect for the teachers that they should get. Teachers should get respect. You are taught as a kid, respect your teachers. And police. There's a difference though, right? Because you don't see teachers get into situation pops off, and I know the situation is different, so it's not a fair comparison. But teachers, if a teacher puts their hands on a student, you don't have the entire school board defending that teacher. Teachers are not notorious for being able to abuse students with impunity. Okay, on camera and we don't have a Rodney King version of a math teacher. You know what I'm saying? So to say, well, the same respect that you are taught to give to your teacher is the same respect and admiration you should have for police. I understand why you have that, and your father might have been a great cop, great man, and all of that. But to compare those two things, there's a reason why black people feel a certain type of way about the police that we don't feel about any other position. We don't feel about any other job, any other occupation. There's a specific reason black people feel that way about that specific occupation. And it's because of the history with that. I don't think you're denying that, but I just want us to factor that in good faith.
No, I'm not denying that at all. And I also want to add to that, so we could put it in perfect perspective. Teacher teaches. There's many black people whose lives have been saved by an officer. So they may have taken some lives unjustifiably, but if we're not going to give them credit for the ones they saved, when they're running to where the danger is at, when they're running to where the bullets is flying from, well, then that's not a fair contrast. So that's why I said this stuff has been, it's a type of, to me, it's just a type of thing that's being put out there. And I think you have to put it in all perspective. If nobody here has ever called the police, good for you.
Man, I got shot in front of the police.
You can't say that.
Wait. Afro, 1 minute, AD, 1 minute. I just want to clear this up. I guess the guy in the comment named Joel is a New Yorker. However, if you do accurate research, right, you'll see that the larger Child's Posse gang was disbanded. However, they have smaller sects. And when you look into the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative bill, it's designed to go after the smaller sects. So yes, the Zopan is here. The Jamaican Child's Posse is here. They're in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I researched this stuff. I suggest you do the same.
Also, I want to add, because we have more speakers, and I want to give everybody a chance to weigh in. Not even, you don't have to specifically weigh in on prompt number 2. You can weigh in on any of the prompts or claims, rather, and then we'll wrap things up. But when we talk about teachers, right, and I don't want to take credit away from someone who deserves the credit. I never mean to do that. I don't want to do that, okay? And I don't want to come off like I'm doing that. We do have to be honest, though, because if a teacher has a classroom and 60% of the class doesn't pass, everybody's going to blame the teacher and going to look at the teacher, be all like, you clearly are not doing a good enough job as the teacher. The fault will primarily fall onto the teacher. So teachers are held accountable. Teachers will be suspended. Teachers will be fired. Teachers are held accountable as far as what they do on social media, as what they do after school, work hours, and all that stuff. So there is stricter, what we're seeing, there's stricter accountability, honestly, in this country for teachers than we see for police. You know? And when a teacher does mess up, you don't see the entire school system back that teacher up. You don't see other teachers lying for that teacher and the principal hiding evidence from the parent. You really don't see that. Okay, not to the degree you see with the police. So I just want us to acknowledge that there is a unique situation with the police. Not to take away from accountability or credit, but we can't do this like, well, they do a good job 60% of the time, so the other 40% I'm just going to have to swallow that, you know. But, I think this is a good conversation with some nuance. But
that's why I said there's 7 million encounters with black individuals. And I know the young lady, she said that, she got into the FBA, what if they're black or if, or people who aren't. But The police don't ain't into that. You know, everybody. This FBA is a new thing, relatively speaking, and so police they see a Jamaican first generation or whatever,
Okay,
they're not
okay.
By
gonna
the
go,
way,
oh,
what
they
young
not
lady
they
Wait,
not
said
wait, wait, wait,
that?
wait.
they
He's
not
talking about
Oh
me.
they
He's
not
talking about me,
God,
Jasmine.
Okay.
come on, man.
they not saying
Look, look, look.
oh,
Okay.
this person's
All
not black.
right, all right, all right, all right.
So that was my point, wasn't it, Afro? That when you say black on, listen to this. I asked an immigrant, right? A melanated immigrant. I said, when I say the black community, do you think of your people? He said, no. I said, when we say the black on black crime rate, do you think of your people? No. That's what I was told, right? Then when you look at white people and they say, well, what about black on black crime? You think they thinking about a Jamaican? And that was my whole point. You said black people come into contact with the police at enormous rates, right? I forgot the numbers. However, now we got to get into lineage and ethnic group because it is those people who are making it seem, who are adding to our statistics. I'm not saying we're not without flaw, but we're taking the blame for a lot of people because they're operating off of race, and that's why we're pushing for disaggregation, because I don't like that statement. When I know that my children ain't coming into contact with the police, my cousins, my this, my that, the third, I ain't coming into contact with the police. But we get in trouble or in situations or conversations that we don't need to be in if it's not us being in contact with the police. So you just said it. You said exactly what I was saying. They operate off of race when everybody should be going by disaggregated numbers, because I'm tired of hearing, what about black people coming into contact with the police at a rate of such and such and such? We got to get to the core of the problem. Those people are willing criminals because they willingly migrated here, but black Americans have been systemically harmed. That's my whole point.
All right,
Does
let's
that make sense, Afro?
yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's very correct. Let's get to Gerard.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm alright. Hey, ain't that dude up there? Ain't that dude who act like Charleston White be saying everything? He the one that got into it with DL Hughley.
Yeah.
Yeah, that nigga's a bitch. Excuse my language. That nigga right there, and that dude in the corner, he remind me of one of them type dudes too, man. Because to give the police any kind of credit for the shit that's going on, that's absurd, man. Even if it's a 60-40, they help you out 60-40. I'm saying we do a better job of protecting our own than what the fuck they can do. Because, man, look, if you a police right now, it's bad news, man. I can't stand them. All this shit happening, and I had good hopes for Trump. I thought, it was America first, and all turned out to be all bullshit. You know what I mean? So I'm just ready.
Jerron, are you from LA?
Yep.
Yes, you see how
Yep.
I could clock that LA accent.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
I'm from LA too, right? The hills.
I'm off Western and 28th, and we can't
Hey,
stand.
I'm from the Duns.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
yeah, and
People who are
see,
not from LA.
and
Go ahead, love.
they just waking up to that. We've been experiencing here in LA. Not to say it wasn't going on in other states, but that's why NWA and them came out with F the police, all that shit, man. And like, this shit ain't nothing new. It's just crazy that people is just now starting to notice it, but it's really been going on for a long time. It just seemed at the latest it's at a higher point. I ain't never seen it. Like, it seemed like every day you look on here, somebody then, the police and unalived a black kid who was running. They shot him in the back, or he was
Oh,
handcuffed and
you
shot.
say like pew
You
pew or
know,
something like that. You gotta.
yeah. You know what I mean? So, that's it, man. I land my plane, bro. Just, big ups to y'all, man, and, keep going.
All right, appreciate that. Appreciate that.
I'm always gonna bring in the LA Los
Let's.
Angelinos, as we call them, whatever.
All right. Let's get to AD. AD WXYZ. All right, that's a name for you.
What up, though? What up, though? Shout out to the panel.
What up, though?
And yeah, my man. I don't know what he on, man. And I'm from the D, and in Detroit, we don't have a lot of pew pewing from the police, but the police let you know up here that they shady. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got pew pew. A dude empty out 2 clips right in front of the police on me. You know what I'm saying? He hit me twice. The first 2 shots. The police sat there, looked at him, waited until he got done, and he pulled off. And then the police asked me, "Hey, you okay?" And then, yeah, you know, it was back in my hood day. Yeah, I'm okay. And we went to go get him. Well, whatever. But they told me, you know, because I was deep in these streets, and they whipped up on me one day, and they told me, they say, "Man, you know, you need to come work with us." They say, "Shit, majority, 99% of gangbangers, dealers, whatever." They said they work for us, indirect. I mean, yeah, either indirect or indirect. They work for us, and that's what made me get, you know, just, you know, start over a whole new life. Because yeah, whatever my man, he's saying that the police not good at all. Police ain't nothing but a bunch of hood dudes, a bunch of gladiators, and all that. My grandmother called the police because somebody robbed her. They came to my grandma's house about 3 weeks later trying to start drama with us. You know, so I don't know, you know, maybe I don't even, wherever he from, or his father, you know, a police officer or whatever, you know, kudos to them. But no, there ain't no such thing as a good cop, man. They get trained by Israel, and Israel clearly don't like foundational Black Americans. They done came out and said it a bunch of times, and I don't understand how our so-called own people could go against us and say that these people are for us. These people it was never for us. You might have some like in Detroit, you know, because they have to live amongst us. So you may have some that's, you know, riders, but it's majority of them is not. I land my plane.
I have a response to that because
So,
I
Hold on,
is
so
let's
I,
get
very
to
I
hold on. We still got MJ.
okay. I'm gonna forget that because it was so whimsical, but I got what he was saying. Go ahead, MJ.
Okay, how everybody was doing, but we got to, like, if people know their history, we got to know that cops was originally slave catchers. Like, we got to know this. We got to know our history and how police have over police lives black communities that had property in them because of redlining, gentrification, gerrymandering, all these things to make black Americans not succeed. But we still succeeded because of black excellence, you know. They always go overshine racism that they keep up upholding, but that's not the problem. My problem is black conservatives. I don't get it. Like Trump showed his supporters that Trump in it for himself. He in it for himself. It's Trump. Like you don't even gotta explain Donald Trump. It's just Trump, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah, I land my plane. I
Yeah,
land
we
my plane.
wrapping up.
And
All
that's
right.
why I wanted to
so
go before
I've been
him because
addressed
I
a
was gonna
couple of
lose my train
times
of thought.
about.
No,
I've
Kana or
been
whatever,
It's
CGX.
now,
You have a lot of
but you know, some
letters.
people were talking about some things I
Okay.
said,
Yeah.
so I just
So
wanted to
we'll
respond.
address you, Jasmine, real quick because we wrapping up.
All right, thank you. So no, back to AD with the other letters or whatever. He was talking about basically what he said. I'm going to summarize it into he is looking at Hollywood propaganda, right? And it's like this story of like, yeah, I'm from like this area. Let's just, just throw it out there, South Central LA. And I grew up on Normandy and West and whatever. And then when I was over here in the hood, and whatnot. And I went to Fairfax High School, whatever. That's how it was being from the hood, right? So, like that propaganda is not only something that we experience here in the US, going back to your actual prompt a little bit. And maybe it's not so much about the outsiders, they always kind of insert themselves. here they are again being like they don't have different sets. They don't have different hoods. They don't have different gangs.
What are
They
you
don't have
talking
freaking.
about? What are you talking from
Why?
the
Why
D?
do you always talk when I talk? Like
I
why
just
are
saying
you
something to you
bullying
because
me?
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Because you're not
She's
us.
referring to
I ain't
me.
trying to be y'all. I'm from
No, I was
Detroit. I
talking to
wouldn't
80,
want to
not
be
you,
no
Jasmine. I
LA.
Okay,
wasn't even
okay,
talking to you,
okay,
Jasmine.
okay,
No,
okay.
no, I'm not
Everybody
talking to you,
stop,
Jasmine.
stop, stop,
I'm
stop,
trying to
stop.
explain to the guy what
Okay.
she's referring to something I said earlier.
All
She
right.
doesn't think I'm
Well,
from
now we're
Los
gonna get
Angeles.
to
No, she
the
said my name.
everybody. Now we're gonna get to Nah, because he was addressed
Oh,
multiple times. So we're gonna get to Nah, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
okay. So what I wanted to say is I think we gotta acknowledge that when we say, oh, we're black people, we are black people, but we're not all having the same experience in the country at this time. We're not having a unified experience. Some black people experience things that is not like what I'm hearing other people are experiencing, and I know, when we hear these things, a gentleman admitted. He said he used to be a gangbanger. Okay, well, you're going to experience something different from a black person who's not a gangbanger. Somebody said, they used an example of NWA. Well, NWA, you had the Bloods and the Crips. They were pew-pewing each other over colors. So if you're not involved with that, you're not going to be experiencing that type
Which
of
is
thing.
retarded
So,
to the people
so
like
this
you
is
You
Hey,
from
can't say
Detroit.
that
this is
word.
you.
something.
AD. You can't say
This
that
is something.
word.
Oh, my
This
fault.
is something that
No
We're
is
problem.
gonna have to
what
remove you.
somebody personally chose to engage in, and that's their choice. But it comes with what it comes with. So that's it, and I'm gonna land there.
I have a problem
Before
with something
before
you said.
before BX goes, and then let me ask you one question, and then I think we can figure out and ascertain a lot by your answer of this question. What do you think about the situation with George Floyd?
Oh, I think that was ridiculous. Yeah, you can't put your knee on somebody's neck for 8 minutes and then act like you don't know why they are unalive. So that was an example of police brutality on a black man at its finest. So no, that was a tragedy. That shouldn't happen.
Okay. All right. So, to summarize your stance, you feel like black people that there is police brutality that exists, but black people exaggerate it, or black people do too much, are taught to have some type of
Uh,
negative feelings of the police.
let me to summarize how I feel about it is, like I said earlier, there's some people that are just corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
So people, if you're gonna have people in any system, people are gonna be corrupt. That's just the nature of people, unfortunately. So now you got a situation where I can give you an example of what happened with the black gentleman who was beaten to unalivement by all the black officers. So, because at first it used to be, oh, these are white officers, it's racial. But then we seen black people doing it, and then they just changed it to police. I'm old enough to have seen this change. So these things tell me that there's an element going on there. If you look at the disparity of police being unalived the other way around, they are unalived more, not numbers more, but per capita more by black people.
That's
So,
not true.
it,
No, it ain't.
okay,
Don't do that.
or you got,
No,
okay,
that's not
well,
true.
listen, I can show it to you on the screen. I got it right here.
He
Hey,
wants to
Afro.
present
By
himself
total,
as
Afro.
by total,
credible.
here it
Hey,
is right
Afro.
here. If you
Mm-hmm.
if you allow me to read
Hey,
it,
Afro. Can I
it
ask you a
says right
question?
it
Can
says
you
right
can
here,
hey
offenders,
Afro? Can you ask him what he would
demographic,
do if he was there when he
excuse
when
me,
George Floyd had his knee
excuse
on
me,
him?
That's a good
What he
question.
would
What
have
would you
did?
do? What would you do if you were there when George Floyd was
Yeah.
there?
What would you do?
what would I do if when George
If
What would
Derek
you
Floyd
have
was
Chauvin,
did
if
if you
Derek
was
Chauvin
right
had his
there?
knee on George Floyd and you was right there at the time, what would you have done?
I would have told him to stop to get off of him.
Oh man,
But
yeah,
now here's
he
the thing, though.
I've had
Now let me
run-ins
ask you,
with
because
police.
you're bringing up the situation with the black cops who attacked that black man and took him, right? Does
Beat
that
them
mean that the
to
other situations when we bring up the cops being racist, does that debunk that? Does that mean that those
no,
other cops are not racist then?
no. It means that doesn't necessarily mean it happened because they were racist. You don't know why they did what they did. People can
And
do
that's why
things.
we
You
know
you
that you're
see
either a
in
coon or a
in in
tether.
in the
Okay.
state of Florida where I'm at now, as I mentioned, they passed a law that
Well, okay.
to
Well,
you can't you
here's the
can't
thing.
you can't
I will agree.
let me tell
I
you
agree.
let me just tell you this let me tell you this real quick
Just you
because I
got like
think
10
this is
seconds
something
because we
that
do got to
happens.
wrap things up.
Okay,
Mhm.
so in the state of Florida, you
Mhm.
cannot say a whole bunch of crazy stuff to the police. They can charge you with uh, a crime for doing that. And the
Okay.
reason they said is because one thing that's understood is the psychology is most of the time these police get angry because how people be selling out on them because they human. And black people don't take disrespect too much. A black cop is gonna whoop your ass.
Oh
Who's
Okay.
talking
Okay.
shit
Hold
to
on.
you?
Hold on.
God.
Hold on.
All
Hold
right,
on. Hold
so
on.
So
that's
Hold
wasn't
what's
on.
he
gonna
just
Hold
taking
happen.
up
on.
for his
Hold on.
All
brother?
Here's the
right, so
thing.
so
Here's
and
the
it's not because you're black. It's because
cops.
you talking.
Hey,
Yeah,
man. Here's the thing. Do we know why the police do it? And here's the thing: the litmus test, according to certain people, to prove that a cop is racist is damn near impossible. You will unless they openly admit to doing it because of race. Y'all move the goalpost so far it is impossible to prove. But what can be proven is that their defense is because of race. That is what can be proven. All right. What can be proven is that there are certain things that a white cop can do to a black person that a black cop will not be able to do to a white person. We know that for a fact.
Goddamn
We
right.
know for a fact
Goddamn right.
there are several things. I've seen cops go to high school and start body slamming high schoolers, minors. You ain't never seen no black cop go
they're
to no white.
Afro,
Sir,
Afro.
you don't see black cops going to white high schools, body slamming people and getting to get away.
Okay,
And they know for a fact. I can give you multiple cases of black cops doing things that white cops get away with, and black cops going to prison for them. So we're not gonna
you
play like, well, we don't
you
know if
you
it's
must
about
not.
race. We know the system is going to have a racial protection
A
over the
black
white ones.
cop
That's what
knocked
we
a
do know.
white woman out at a football game.
You
They were
are a
carrying
coon
her.
or
They
a
were carrying
tether.
her
A
out.
coon or a
They
tether.
were
So which
carrying
Okay,
one
her
is
out.
it?
She
You're a
sits
coon
up.
or a
She
okay,
tether.
hold
Which
on,
Afro,
one is
Jasmine,
it?
I think that's
Jasmine,
what you are.
Afro,
Because
Oh,
you can't
everybody.
Afro,
understand. Only thing I'm telling you is
Okay,
facts. I haven't said
Afro.
anything that's an opinion yet.
Afro, can I
I
just
told
say
you a
something, bro?
okay,
fact. Now you
hold
got to
on.
deal with the
Man,
fact.
S-
You got to
Hold,
deal with
man,
the facts.
what? Wait a
Can't
Afro,
second.
why
Wait a
don't you
second.
just
and
tell
and
me,
that's
I
what
bro?
want
y'all
to hear
want
what
to
he has to
avoid.
say. You said a black cop did what?
Oh, he knocked a white woman out at a football game. And when he
Okay,
knocked her out, the people cheered
okay.
because she was causing the disturbance at the football game, and he was trying to remove her, and she wouldn't leave. She swung at him, did barely,
No,
and
no,
he
no, no, no,
knocked
no,
it.
no, 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 no. She swung at him. Notice you didn't mention that at first.
Well,
If
I
she
mentioned it now.
attacked a police officer and he punched her, she's alive today, I'm sure.
Oh, he
If
punched
she
the hell
wasn't,
out of
he
her.
would be in trouble. I'm pretty sure she's alive and well today. He
Right.
punched her after he was attacked. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about cops who will go up and escalate a situation and turn the situation, which would be calm, into a violent situation where they're pulling out weapons and all of that stuff. You don't see black cops getting the leeway that white cops get. You don't see that. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen. It does
No,
happen.
no, it doesn't.
Um,
Man,
next time,
Afro, this
you
nigga
have a
sound
live,
like
next
he'll
time you
be the
have a live,
lawyer
I'll
for the
have
police
videos.
that
Okay,
I
yeah.
unalive the
will
next
Next
have
time we
black.
have a live,
videos
come
of it
on.
just to show you. I'll
Bring
have
it. Bring.
videos for you
I'm ready
just for
for it.
you to see.
All
because
Man,
right.
this nigga sound like
you don't see it because they
this
don't
nigga sound
I
like
don't.
because
he'll
It don't
represent
happen.
the
because
That's
it
why I
cops
don't
and
doesn't
see it.
kill the
fit
Nobody
black
see it.
dude,
don't
man.
fit the narrative. It don't fit the narrative, so you're not gonna see it.
There was a case.
Right, Huron.
There was
Yeah,
a
this cause
there was a
this
case,
nigga
right?
ain't
One
Hold
been in
on.
moment,
jail.
one moment,
There
y'all.
was there was
Afro.
hold on. Do you know about the case of Breonna Taylor, right? You know about that, right?
Hell
Yeah, I know
yeah.
about that case.
Do you know that the warrant was completely fraudulent?
No, I
That
didn't
they
know that.
lied that they lied to the judge to get that no-knock warrant, right? Did you know that? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. No,
Yeah, they
if
gave
that's
fraudulent
what you're saying,
information to the judge
I've
in
never
order
heard
to
that.
get the no-knock warrant, which they used, and they wound up unaliving Breonna Taylor in her home. And there was absolutely no evidence of any type of crime. She wasn't no queen pin, whatever the narrative was. There was no evidence of that there, period. And it was a fraudulent document, right? Do you think if Breonna Taylor was a white woman and all those cops were black and they had a fraudulent document to get a no-knock warrant and knock down the door of a white woman and unalived her, that all of them would have got off like they did with Breonna Taylor? Can you honestly say that you feel like everything would be the exact same even if the races were reversed?
Uh-huh. Answer that, nigga.
So so look, when you have situations like this happen,
Okay.
first thing I've told you already is that police are people. They're
Can
gonna
you
do some
can
stuff
you
they got
okay?
no
I
business
get
doing.
first off,
So that's
it wasn't
already
a mistake.
so.
That's not a mistake. Lying to the judge to get a no knock warrant is not a
Why,
mistake. That's not
why
a
would they
oops, my
lie to?
bad. I forgot to no.
Why would they? All right. So here's the rest of the story.
Can you answer the
Everybody has
before
seen.
before I get the
Let me
rest of the
answer
story?
this question.
Before I get the rest of the story, can you answer
Everybody
the
has seen.
question? No.
I am. I am.
Okay.
Everybody has seen movies where the police is doing things to get. Everybody knows he's the bad guy because you watching the movie. He has
Man,
to
fuck a
go
movie.
through all
This
these
really happened.
technicalities, right? Now, in this case here, if you can listen for a second, control yourself. Now,
I'm not
so
out of
here's
control.
what you got. I know it's hard for you. I know it's hard.
No, it's
But
hard
look,
for
I'm
me. That's
waiting
why I
on
say
the
it ain't hard
answer
for
to
me.
the question.
here's what I'm getting at. So when we see this happen in the movie, it happens in real life. A police officer may do some things that he wasn't supposed to do, but he knows who he's getting going after. So
No,
now
no, no. I need you
we
guys.
know that
BX, can
she
you do
had
Okay, hold
the
on,
we
hold
know
poll?
on.
that she we know that
Can I ask a
Breonna
real
Taylor,
quick question? He's gonna
if
it's
you
gonna keep
didn't
going
know,
on.
you might not have known
Can he
that
can
Breonna
ramble.
Taylor.
Can
Okay.
one of the mods put the prompt up, that like the questionnaire, coon or tether? Do you guys
Okay.
believe that Naki, whatever, the letters, whatever, is a coon or a tether?
I think
Whatever
that you're
mod
a
can do
coon and a
that.
Hold
tether.
on.
Well,
Okay, Jasmine.
You
Let
hold
me.
on,
you're
y'all.
a
Hold
coon
on,
and a tether
Jasmine. Hold
because
on,
you
hold
don't want
on.
to better
You
the black.
too. You too. Hold on. Let's all change the energy of the room. So Afro,
Hmm.
we gonna wind this down. Please don't let nobody up on the
No,
panel, the
yeah, no.
doxes, the
There's been people
internet, all this.
requesting up. I'm not
You
letting
see them,
nobody
right?
else up.
It's
I'm.
crazy because I denied one person.
Yeah. I'm not letting nobody else. Ain't
It's just
nobody else come up.
aggravating.
Yeah, I
It's
know. But
aggravating. Like,
BX,
give me
BX,
the
you
word,
gotta
not the
understand that
harassment.
this is what I
Uh,
do, and once I'm in that mode,
uh,
but I'm not, because I do
I,
have an early
I
morning tomorrow.
know.
It's about 1 o'clock where I am, so I gotta get up out of
Uh-uh.
here. All right, that's the only
I
reason.
just want to. Okay, can I point this out?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he went to, and I asked other people, when you say the black community, do you think of your people? They said no, and I'm talking about Africans, Jamaicans, this, that, and the third. They know they're not a part of the black community, and I just told this man that. And then when he's talking about immigrants who unalive the black man that he's talking about, then it's the black cops did this. That is the whole reason why we want to delineate. And I understand why Jasmine had some questions about Jasmine, but tonight wasn't the time. This wasn't that type of topic, but sometimes we got to go there because you throwing all black people, all black cops under the bus, but some of them cops were Caribbean. And
That's what
that's
I was
why
trying to say. Thank
everybody
you.
is not black. Because if they migrate here and was never black on their islands in their African nations, this, that, and the third, and they become our ethnic group, then who the hell are we? Because I ain't Caribbean. I ain't African. I ain't Afro-Latino. Our ethnic group is being invaded, and here you go throwing all black cops under the bus. And my cousins aren't Caribbean, but they are black cops.
How am I throwing
But
all
go
black
to the
cops
top,
under the
to the
bus when I
south.
said my father was a cop?
I don't even know who you are, sir.
How
We didn't ask
dumb
your
Can't.
ethnic group.
how
Okay.
dumb is
We didn't
Everybody
ask
stop.
your ethnic group.
Everybody. That's enough. Y'all ruined it for
Yeah.
me. Y'all have really irritated me tonight. I'm
You love
I'm
us.
just
It
irritated.
got really deep.
Jasmine, please,
No.
please. No, I'm
All
frustrated
right.
because the moment we have good conversation, here comes the distractors entering the chat, and nobody thinking about them until they enter a chat. And then we have this guy up here throwing all black people under the bus, but all these other people are using their ethnic groups, or maybe he don't know. There's a Caribbean
why
immigrant
don't you
called. There's that.
delineate
Shut
why
the
don't you
fuck up.
delineate
At this point, you've been talking too fucking much. We are delineating here. Come your dumb ass putting
delineate
all black people
between
in
you
one, but shut the fuck up. Shut up.
and
So let me tell you something, sir. If
delineate
we
between
were all black,
who are doing
if we were
something and
all
yourself.
black, if
You
you know what I'm gonna say, there wouldn't be a Caribbean immigrant
I'm
caucus. Now I'm gonna scratch the record, you little dick nigga. So here we go.
I'm
There wouldn't be a Caribbean immigrant
you
caucus, a Haitian immigrant
deline
caucus, an African
from
immigrant
you
caucus. There wouldn't be a Somali
delineating.
immigrant caucus if we were all black.
Hey,
So
stop
shut the
drinking.
fuck up about we're all
You sound
black.
like
No,
you.
we're not. Because
How
it
many
was a
teeth you missing?
Jamaican who helped to
How many
underlie
teeth you?
Mr. Nigga. Shut the fuck up. You know you wrong.
Them,
Shut up.
them lips are slapping on
When
the
the
gums.
men
All
was
right.
getting at you, when the men was getting
Hey,
at
put your
you ain't have all that heat. But
put the
because I'm a
dentures
woman, you know I'm from New York, I smack
put the
the shit
dentures
out of
in.
you. And you already know I
Put the
will.
dentures.
I'm in the Bronx,
Look at me,
nigga.
shit.
Put the dick in your
Put
butt,
the
nigga.
bottle.
Because you're too
Put the
sweet.
bottle down. Put the bottle. Put that bottle down.
That's
What you
the only comeback you have after throwing
you
my
been
lineage
drinking?
under the bus? Is that the only
You been
comeback you
drinking.
have, you little moist
You
dick
been
nigga?
drinking.
You pay. You
Hey,
You
pay
been
for your
drinking.
pussy.
hey,
You pay
Bronx,
for
Put
that's
your
the
an
bottle.
pussy.
agent.
And you've been
That
smoking
nigga's an
crack.
agent. That's an agent. That's an
I've been
agent,
trying to get
man.
him off for a very long time. This thing has tripping. I've been trying to. I'm literally
I'm
trying to
like,
get him off
I'm over
for
here
a
trying.
while,
He
to be
was
honest.
the app
Afro,
is
he
This
belong
thing
glitching.
is
right up
really
there
tripping.
on the
I'm
side
gonna
where
be
that
honest.
picture
I'm gonna
at.
be honest with you. The apple don't fall far from the tree. If his dad was a cop, his dad was probably a punk ass Brandon Tatum himself. I'm gonna be very honest. The apple don't. He ain't doing all that ass kissing if his dad is not doing the same thing. His dad was probably an ass kiss. His dad might be Brandon. He might be related to Brandon Tatum in some way or some shape, form, or fashion. I don't even know. At this point, I didn't want to disrespect his dad, but at this point, looking at how he was raised, his dad is probably worthy of some disrespect. It's not even disrespect at that point. His dad probably is an ass kissing coon like his son. Cause normally you don't see the sons become ass kissing coons unless the parents are like that. I'm be honest.
Fuck it, Afro. Just say fuck it. Fuck
Come
his
on.
daddy. We'll get it all out the way. Fuck you and your daddy.
First of all, you know I'm being very nice. BX is always shy when I give her big props or whatever. F them. I think I single handedly was a BX lover tonight because she's speaking that truth, and these weirdos follow her from live to live, bringing their weird ideologies and never answering the freaking prompt. Right? It's so freaking weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's these like cross references of being weird, right?
Yep.
And they'll be like, "Oh, well, you're this or you're that." Not to
But
make it
we do
about
gotta wrap
her,
up though.
but yeah,
Yeah,
I
we do gotta wrap
understand.
up.
But
Y'all make
that
sure y'all go. See, now y'all stress BX. Y'all send BX some gifts. Y'all done stressed her out tonight, okay? She got all out of
yeah,
she
send her
started
more gifts.
she
Like,
got
come
all out of
on.
character and all that. She was quiet. I even had to convince her. I'm like, come on, we'll do it late when it'd be real cool, real quick. We on 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Y'all done got her swearing and cussing at his whole family. Y'all send her some gifts and hearts and stuff like that. Just
what it is.
Stressed
Thank
her
you,
out.
y'all. You
Now
know
she
what it
needs to go
is?
in the kitchen and make some tea
And never
and
leave us
light a
I
alone
need
with
a
candle.
these
pork
freaking
chop.
tenders and
You
coals
know.
again, BX.
I need a pork chop. But listen, Afro, listen, everybody, it's very simple. They do not have the U.S. social construct, racial construct in their countries. They migrated here for so many years. They looked at what the Kaisenat said, just black, you're just black. But now, conveniently, everybody want to be identified as black, and what that is doing is causing an erasure to us. But it's not just that; they have all these caucuses based off of those people's lineage. So, like I said, and I can say it in a calm tone. They have the Caribbean Immigrant Caucus, the Haitian Immigrant Caucus. They have the African Immigrant Caucus. They have the Somali Immigrant Caucus. I hear the Nigerians are trying to establish a caucus, and the Congressional Black Caucus was helped or written or put into existence by Shirley Chisholm, right? Who made it that they fight for the broader black population. So the Caribbean double and triples dips, but so does the Africans. And everybody running around talking about they Caribbean, they African, they Afro Latino, they Asian, they Hispanic, they this, that, and the third. But everybody want to be black when it's time for us to get what we have been demanding, and we are the ones rightfully owed. So to say everybody is black, that is race. But the Fearless Fund, who wasn't congressional, just gave money to black businesses, can no longer do that because that is race-based. DEI is going when white women benefited the most, but that was based off of our struggle. Affirmative action is going because it was race-based. And they are contesting Evanston, Illinois because it is race-based. Black Americans will get nowhere if we don't operate off a lineage. And I got to hear him blame us when you say black. Them people don't think about themselves. They think about us. Now I got to hear all black cops are bad in that moment that I think his name was Tyree Nichols was harmed, and one of the men was Jamaican. So no, we're not all black. We're gonna call them what they are: the Jamaican, the Haitian, the Nigerian, the Ghanaian, this, that, and the third. Race is unconstitutional. It's been unconstitutional, and those folks know that. That's why they got all them caucuses that we don't benefit from. But did y'all know there's a Jamaican Chamber of Commerce, a Haitian Chamber of Commerce, and the National Black Chamber of Commerce? And guess what? Anglo-Caribbeans benefit more from those chambers of commerce than foundational black Americans. And I gotta be nice to that idiot trying to use black as one big umbrella. They all up in our crime statistics. So when the APB goes out for a GANG member who just did a pew-pewing somewhere and they trying to get out of state, that doesn't go out by their immigration status. That goes out as a black person. And so therefore, my father, my sons, my uncles, my cousins, my friends that I love as brothers and cousins and uncles, that means you and your brother can be identified, or the usual suspects. We have a description. Meanwhile, they got flags all in the cars of their countries they come from. They ain't even looking at them. And even a Haitian came out and said when he gets stopped by the police, he emphasizes his accent. And they said, oh, what are you? I'm Haitian. And he gets let go. So no, you can't call all these other people black, because that is an erasure, and that is also harmful to foundational black Americans. I want them to identify as they are, and that's the country they migrated from or their family migrated from, period. That's it.
Quickly, put me on the big screen. This is BX's clothing line that I bought. BX is so freaking humble. Mm-hmm. That is the New York with the apple. I can't really see me go a little bit down lower or whatever.
Jungle, yes, the concrete jungle.
You guys don't really know what it means to actually support our community. This is BX's and if you guys have BX's website, put it in the prompt right now, or just put it into the chat. That's what it means to actually be a foundational Black American. They are not on your level, BX, and in every lifetime.
Thank you. That design was done by Ishmael Friedman. She does do graphics free for foundational Black Americans. Y'all talk to her if y'all want your own logos and things of that nature. No, that's not Ellis Island immigration, honey. The Statue of Liberty was given to us when America sent it back. That is not for the immigrants. She still has chains at her feet to symbolize us. being emancipated on this land. The immigrants weren't emancipated here, sir. But Afro, I'm sorry, he pissed me off.
Right.
And he's from New York. He don't have a real New York accent either. He said, my father was a cop from New York. I don't hear no real New York accent. He sounds like a tether that don't know how to roast. Period.
All right. It's been real, y'all. It's been a good one. Y'all go to For the Culture on YouTube so y'all can listen to the playback of this. If you guys caught it late, if you guys want to listen to the playback, all that, go to For the Culture on YouTube. All right. And if you guys are on For the Culture listening to this, shout out to y'all. Much respect. Thank you all very much. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that. With that being said, y'all, I will see y'all soon. It's late. Gotta get off here. I will see
Thank you,
y'all
everyone.
soon.
Good
Y'all make sure
night.
y'all go to For the Culture.
Good night, Jazz. Good night, Jasmine.
Take
Good
care.
night, Salon.
Good night, y'all.
Good
Y'all
night.
have a
Love
good
you
one. Good night.
guys.
Love you more.
Everybody that got it, they get it. It is what it
It
is.
was nice
right?
meeting y'all. This is my first time on there. Nice
Well,
meeting
you're
y'all.
on
Nice
from
meeting you too,
Cali.
All right.
My first time
Good
too.
night,
Nice
Black
meeting
America.
everyone.
Website.
Nice
Okay,
meeting
all right.
y'all.
We're
Y'all
going
have
to
a
do this
good
right.
night.
Now click off